Hi, my name is Suzanne, and I'm going to talk to you about an idea we have in our department to make some improvements that will help the organization. Um, we have a lot of downtime in our OR between cases, and it is very costly to the organization due to lost revenue. It also has a negative impact on the staff due to listening to surgeons and anesthesia constantly complain about how inefficient we are. We want to show our surgeons that they're important and their time is valuable, so making these improvements will show just that. Currently, we're averaging 48 minutes between cases, whereas the national average is 26 minutes, so we have a lot of room for improvement. We have identified some areas where we could make improvements through a Kaizen event. We brought together people from different areas that have an impact on room turnover time. We included our sterile processing department, which is an out-of-department area, and they need to be involved. We included the charge nurse, a circulator, a scrub tech, unit aide, somebody from pre-op, and management. These people all came together and discussed what was going on in our department and where some of the shortfalls have been. And through numerous scenarios and attempts, we have identified several areas that we need to make an improvement in. It's going to cost us some money, and it's going to take us some time. One of the things that we do need to do that we identified was one of our biggest barriers was our sterile supplies are kept outside of the operating room. There's two reasons we need to address this. Number one, it is time consuming to have to leave the department and go into another semi-restricted area to get our supplies. But also it is poor care towards the patient because we should never leave a sterile department unless absolutely necessary. So that's one area that we need to improve. We have a room that is within the OR. It houses our equipment. Our equipment does not need to be in our restricted area. So we could actually switch the two around. The room where we house our equipment is larger than where we keep our sterile supplies. It's going to be a costly endeavor because it's going to require some remodeling. What we're going to need to do is bring in somebody from our who supplies us our carts, and those carts happen to be on a track system. We need to have a track system so we can move the carts easily and they remain in the same place. And also we have found that in our sterile supply room now, it's very disorganized because it's so cramped. So this will alleviate both issues. We will no longer have to leave the department, nor will we have to struggle trying to get supplies out. Potentially somebody is going to get hurt because it's very awkward taking those trays off the shelves, and it will also improve our flow. Another area that we could improve on is we don't have an overhead paging system currently. We do have the speakers in place, however, the way it's wired right now, it goes throughout the hospital, and really the rest of the hospital doesn't need to know we need to turn over room 4. Just the people who are in our surgical services need to know that. So we need to bring in an electrician to look at rewiring our system that we already have in place. So there's obviously going to be a cost involved, but we've already spoken to engineering, and it's something that's very doable. And another area that we could look at is better communication. We have floundered with our communication, so we need to enforce that we have our daily huddles at 6:45. People need to know their assignment daily. They need to know what's going on, what the order of the cases are going to be, where there could be a problem, that we do have supplies we need to watch because we have multiple urology cases, for example, and we may run out of scopes. So we need to address that. We need to keep a close eye on that, and we need to be in close communication with sterile processing. And that brings me to having an additional huddle at 2:45 daily and include SPD in it. So it would be SPD, the charge nurse, and our business partner. That way they can look at the next day. We can make adjustments necessary. We can make sure the reps have been contacted so they'll be here. So there's no delays related to any of those things that we can preempt. If we do all these things, we're going to make improvements in our turnover time, which will give us staff satisfaction, surgeon satisfaction, anesthesia satisfaction, organization satisfaction, because we are not going to have all that lost revenue. because of our averaging of 22 minutes between cases that we're losing, and if you look at, we have 10 ORs, we are losing 220 minutes, and that's a lot between each case. So we need to make improvements. And we're just not utilizing the block time correctly. And we need to be able to communicate with the staff what is going on, and an inexpensive way to do that is a large communication board where we have it divided up into our wins, our areas for improvement, what we have done, ways that we can improve, staff suggestions. We need to have a graph. We need to have, so they can see it. It needs to be visual. And then another thing we can do is have some celebratory luncheons. Let the staff brag about their improvements. Make sure we make surgeons aware of what we're doing and the improvements that have been made. They will be very receptive to this. I think these small gains will make a massive difference. Anyways, I think it's something that's definitely needed to be looked into, and our staff are very excited at the idea of making these improvements. So, thank you.